Anchor Network.
Hello and thank you for joining us today. This is Respa Abraham with Anchor Network, where we bring you conversations with ordinary people doing extraordinary work in our community, or individuals with unique stories that are worth sharing. In our conversation today, we are going to be joined by someone that I have had the privilege of knowing for many, many years. He's a friend, and more than that, he's very much rooted in our community. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes.
So before we go into the details, I'm sure our audience would like to know, who are you? So please introduce yourself.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So my name is Elvis Omboto. I've been here in the US for about 22 years. Started with humble beginnings, just like you, and God has really been a blessing to help me impact lives through helping people transition into IT. It's not about how much wealth we've accumulated, but how many lives are we going to change and impact?
Exactly. It's how many lives that you're going to change and impact. It's also reflection on where you've come from.
Absolutely.
And it's always good to remember where you came from, and the best way to remember that is to go back and lift somebody or give back and change the community as you take a step forward. So you're doing many things, but today we want to focus on one thing that is near and dear to your heart,
Right.
and that is the work that you do around the organization Epko.
Yes,
What is-
absolutely.
What is Epko?
Yes, so I'm the founder of Epko Consulting. It actually means, it's named after my mom, who really inspired me to do the work of giving back to the community by changing people's lives career-wise, helping people to realize the potential that they have from within, and dealing with the negative spirits that linger and discourage people that you can't be what God has created you to be. And I'm so excited that since starting Epko, we've had many, more than 150 people go through our program, and 88, we've helped place 88 data engineers into the field.
Oh, wow.
Into the field of data engineering, so to speak. And
Wow.
it's been amazing to visit these people's homes and see they're buying new homes, they're moving from apartments to houses, to home ownership, and it's just been an amazing experience, so rewarding. So it's not just myself doing this, but the team at Epko.
Interesting that you mentioned that one of the reasons why this began is because of your mother. So I will digress a little bit and just focus on that topic and maybe ask you how much or how important it is to carry the legacy, especially knowing that you did this in honor of your mother, to carry the legacy of our mothers. And also, what would you say to others on the role of women and also promoting equity and diversity as far as women are concerned?
Absolutely. I don't even know where to begin when it comes to that, because I wouldn't be here where I am were it not for my mom. Yes, my dad as well.
Yeah.
But I know that most of the energy that's provided the uplift for myself and my siblings, my mom was the engine. My dad, the pillar.
Yeah.
But, I just remember we were very, very poor growing up in Keroka in Kisii, Kenya. We were very, very poor. And I remember I was in Form 3 or 11th grade. And I was telling my mom that, having 10 children, I was like, we are in poverty. What are we going to do? And my mom is like, just my son, keep working hard. You're gonna do well. And I was telling my mom, I feel like if I don't leave Kenya and go abroad, I don't think we're gonna make it. And that's 11th grade.
11th grade.
Yeah, so I knew my mom has cousins in the US. I said, can you talk to them?
Yeah.
And see if they can have me go study in the US and be able to make that impact.
Okay.
You know, she actually wrote a letter in Kisii. And
Really?
yeah, so I took it to the post office in Karoka, and I remember we mailed it out because there were no cell phones at that time.
Back
of course.
then.
no cell phones, you know.
Yeah.
So we mailed it out, and thankfully my uncle, who lives here in Arlington, he was able to get that letter and go and get me an admission to one of the universities here. And I went to the embassy. Long story short, I was able to make it here. And I'm so excited that
here we are today.
Here we are.
And here we are
but
today.
as far as women go in the society, women are the pillars. I don't know what we could have done, even from, you know, raising the children. Some women are single parents, some are widows, but they are the reasons we have the moral compass, in my opinion. The fathers, yes, they have been there too, but I feel like most of our morals, you know, even when a kid does something wrong, they want to know who is the mother of this kid, you know. And then when a child does something good, the fathers will be like, you know, that's my son, that's my daughter. Yeah. But the most of the credit, I feel like, really, there's a reason why women are called mothers. And yeah, so my mom was such an inspiration. She changed a lot of people's lives. She was pretty much doing what you're doing, giving back to the community, and just making sure like the well-being of everybody is.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what she instilled in me, and that's why I do it.
Wonderful, wonderful, and we definitely cherish the memories of the mothers who have left us, and all the women who are here with us, and we honor you and celebrate you.
Let me tell you something I want to mention really quick. So when my mom and dad came to the US, this was kind of, you know, funny because my mom had an 8th grade education and my dad is educated to college to Uganda all the way. So but then so my ex-in-laws were speaking to my dad. And they were asking her, I mean him, that in Kenya, do you put sweaters on or jackets on the cows in winter time, you know? And my dad said, yeah, you know? And my mom was there in the kitchen in my house, and she's like, mzee, ulisikia vile umeulizwa? And she's like, no, my dad is like, no, what did they say? You just told them that you put jackets on cows in Kenya. You've never seen that? Oh, no, tell them no. That's no. I didn't understand what they were asking. So it's like, don't just be saying yes. So she actually really inspired me to, because she's self-taught English as much. Yeah. To a point of passing the U.S. citizenship test.
Oh, wow.
You know, she learned from the kids, and she told me like, hey, I learned my English from watching Anderson Cooper.
Oh.
CNN. And now I'm translating for your dad, you know, who went to school and wasted money. She had a good sense of humor.
Yeah,
so.
no, she sure did. She sure did. Yeah. Going back to Epko. What do you do at Epko?
We focus on utilizing data to help businesses make better business decisions, whether through consulting or through helping data engineers that have been either laid off and they're trying to re-enter the workforce, or those that are new and transitioning into IT from different professions. As you know, data is everything nowadays. The numbers don't lie, right? Everything that we do is data related. So every company that actually has realized the power of harnessing this data and processing it to make data-driven decisions, they are going to have a competitive advantage. Look at AI, look at everything that is happening right now, this is all data. These are all data-driven technologies.
Okay.
And I'm glad we're in that space.
To be successful, like you said, you have to make decisions that are based on numbers. You have to look at your numbers, which will help you decide where you're making profit, which market you need to go into, where are you spending most of your resources. Is that the right place to spend your resources? Who is your target audience?
The audience is anybody that really want to get into IT. Whatever they want to transition and have the flexibility of working remote. The audience is anybody that has completed high school and you know, and passed. They have proven that they have the ability to acquire knowledge. They can go through our training program, which is like a boot camp, so to speak. They can finish that, and then the phase 2 of that will be coaching and job placement assistance.
Okay. Is it for people who are based in the US only?
I started with focusing more to supporting people here in the US and Canada, but I found out like in Kenya, in Africa and many other countries, we have many people who have completed their college education, but they don't, there are no jobs.
Okay.
So as you know nowadays, like the bigger the toolbox that you have, the better off you're going to become in the global economy.
Right.
So I felt like, you know, helping these people overseas to harness into these technologies that are now spreading globally into developing countries is going to help them to compete for the global market.
Okay.
I have to stress this, like 60%, almost, I mean, I'll say a big percentage of the IT profession is our Indian brothers and sisters, right? What can we learn from them? Know, they mentor me, they coach me, they are part of my success. Honestly, they are the ones who encouraged me to get into IT. When you look at what they have done, there's some videos that go online about in India. When you look at the different areas, especially Bangalore, India, there's no space for another place for IT training. Like everywhere is IT training.
Oh, wow.
And they know like the population is high, there's not enough jobs.
Yeah.
But they outsource most of the world global IT supply is from India.
It's
so
from
we
India.
have, even here in America, we have many companies that
outsourcing.
were outsourcing to India.
Yeah.
Most of the tech companies, the big tech companies in the US, they are led by our Indian brothers and sisters. Why? So the main thing is the dedication and the hard work that they are put in. It's not that other people can't do it, like we can do it. So that's what I'm encouraging our people, that it's better to be ready for an opportunity than not to be ready when that opportunity presents
itself. Before we even continue this conversation, you know, really let's put it into perspective.
Right.
What is data? You know, a lot of people talk data, and we say data is the new gold, the new oil.
Yes.
But what is data?
So data really revolves around marketing, like around customers. We are people, you know. For example, you go to a fast food restaurant and they tell you, hey, here's your receipt, there's a barcode there, go ahead and scan it and do that survey, and then you may get a free burger or something.
Yeah, next time.
Next time. So you take it, you go, you scan it, then it's like, what's your first name, last name, what's your email address, and all that. That's part of the data collection that can be able to be used to monitor. So
it's not a burger they are giving me, they want my information.
They are harvesting your data too, but you know, in the process you're also benefiting, you know. But when you look at that, it's part of that harvesting of data. Or when you go and to the grocery store, like, okay, what's your membership card? Scan your card, right? You scan it. So they are able to see what did Rispa come, how often does she come here? What does she buy? You know, because you can go with cash. Yeah. And buy and don't scan your card, then they don't know who it is. But once you have a membership card, then they know how many times you're going there, what you're getting, all this stuff. And sometimes you're talking on the phone and you're like, you know, I need to buy something. Whatever you mentioned, maybe a few moments later you go to your email, you see an ad about what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Because the phones are listening, the TVs are listening to us nowadays, right? So it's just a matter of harvesting this and making sure like they meet your needs, and but also the companies are profiting for it. For example, Netflix, you go watch a movie, and they're like, oh, I think Rispa, you want to watch this one too.
Because you watch this one,
because
which
you
is like
watch
this
one, you may like this one too. Or you go to Amazon, you order something, and they tell you, hey, the people that ordered this also bought this.
Okay.
So when you bundle that all together, it's like targeted marketing based on what you're buying, and also it's actually enhancing your customer experience, because you may have needed to order a microphone or something, and then you forgot that you needed something that comes with it.
Okay.
So it's a win-win, but that is, that's what we analyze, and we process all that, we put into the databases, whether it's on-prem or the cloud. So the storage, we're talking about how the data is stored in the databases that are on-premises or the cloud. And then now as data engineers, we're the ones that do all this work of collecting, processing or extracting and transforming and loading it into databases. Then we process this into data sets that then we use this to build reports, dashboards, and then the executives can make data-driven decisions out of this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Anchor Network.
So for me to get into the data field, sounds very interesting. If I come to Epko today, how long will it take me to now say I am a data engineer? Is that what I become?
Absolutely. So you go first through the main bootcamp upskilling training, so to speak. You will learn programming language of SQL, SQL structured query language. This is the language that we use to speak to databases to get the information that we need. Then you're going to learn other tools that are the ones that are used to transport data from whatever it is to another. Think of it like sand trucks.
Okay.
The sand trucks have to go collect the data from whatever it is to the building site. And then now at the site of the construction site, that's where we build those dashboards and reports and everything. And then now the executives, in this case even the customers, can say, I love this house, I want to make a decision to buy it. Or I want to rent it, I want to do. So that process, the basic training takes about 18 weeks.
Okay.
But it depends on what the background is that you already have. And I partner with my brothers and sisters from India actually to provide some of this training, and some of them are here in the US. And then what happens later is that you now join the coaching and job placement program. Right now we have more than about 107 people there. And
in the training process right now.
Phase 2, yes.
Okay.
And out of the, as I mentioned earlier, out of the 150 some people that have gone through the program, as of 2 weeks ago, we had 88 data engineers that have been hired. In January, we had 3. In February, we had 3. And now in March, we are looking to get more numbers, more people. I call that crossing the river to greener pastures.
To greener pasture. Greener pasture into the data world.
Right.
So I think I want to go back to my question. How long does the upskill take me? You said 18 months.
18 weeks.
18 weeks.
18 weeks,
Yes.
right? For the basic training. Now for the coaching and job placement, it's going to depend on your how much effort and time that you have, because it's self-paced.
Yeah.
Is
the 18 weeks like a full day of training, or?
It's 5 days a week. It's usually Monday through Friday, and it's 1 hour per session. So we have 28 sessions of each of the courses, the 3 major courses that we use, including the SQL, the ETL side, and the reporting side. And then once you're done with those 18 weeks, then you will join the coaching and job placement. In the coaching and job placement, you have 3 months. Like you can get ready with the project portfolios that you can talk about your end-to-end process in data engineering, and then you can be able to showcase this during your interviews and be able to deliver. So there are people who have joined the program and gotten hired within a few weeks. But the minimum I usually tell everybody is 3 months is the average. Like you'll be job ready after that. Now you can start looking for a job.
Yeah. What would you say to, you know, the one thing that especially the African diaspora and knowing where we've come from, and so you come here and you find something and you get comfortable, and sometimes it becomes very hard to jump from one place to another, especially career change. What would you say to anybody who is contemplating a career change and are not exactly sure how to do it, when to do it? What advice would you give them so that they can be able to make that leap?
I think in this process, Rispa, what I've discovered is that, you know, just like the way the Bible says, my people are lost for lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge.
So I find out that a lot of people have these mental barriers, that IT is so complicated. But we know IT is so broad. We have cybersecurity, we have data science, we have it is, you know, data engineering. It's quite broad, right? So when you hear, even when I started myself, I was like, I just want to get into IT, because it was really hard for me to work 8 to 5.
Yeah, I
and
remember,
then from there,
this was not your field.
Yes, I would work 8 to 5, and then I go from there, and I'd be doing Uber in the evenings to make ends meet. But then when I was, some of the brothers and sisters I was giving rides in Uber were Indian, and they're the ones who told me about this. And then now when I got into this space, I find many people from back in Africa, other and even some people that I actually knew. And I was like, how come you never told me about this thing? You know? But it's one thing I've learned about.
We don't share information.
We don't share information. And our Indian brothers and sisters, honestly, they have done a great job to look out for each other, to share, to train, to believe in self-development. But I think some of us, we get complacent, or we get so busy working hard instead of working smart. The consultation meeting alone can invest in that. Invest in a consultation meeting. And then see if this is something that you can do.
You want to venture
because
into or not.
Yeah, we have a lot of misinformation that people don't, or not really completely knowing the process.
No, that's very true. They say you don't know what you don't know, and I really want to emphasize the sharing of information. Sometimes we just need to be active and proactive and go find that information ourselves. But at the same time, I am happy that you came to talk to us about the work that you're doing. And that is really the reason why we are having these conversations of ordinary people doing extraordinary work in our communities, or people with unique stories that we need to share, because in these conversations we will find resources that can help people, information that can help people, and so we want to encourage the sharing of information. So when a community is more informed, we make better decisions.
Absolutely. I want to give you a quick example of what just recently happened. So there's this graduate in Kenya who she had an A in Form 4. She did so good in college, and she passed with honors, and she has not been able to find a job in 3 years.
Wow.
So she went and made herself a poster, and went and stood on in the streets of Nairobi, and she like showed her resume literally on a poster, and she said, I need a job. Not too long ago, I got a message forwarded to me on WhatsApp. So I looked at that picture and I said, wow, this is amazing. You know, how daring can she even be to create this poster
and stand
there instead of asking for money. She's standing there asking for a job. And you know, I reached out to her, and I said I was really inspired by that. And I brought her on board to work for Epko, and I told her, in this process, I'm going to help you because I'm going to give you a few hours to help us in what we do, because she's also she's self-taught SQL, all this other stuff. She was teaching herself on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yes, and so she joined and she, you know, hit the ground running. I, you know, coached her and we helped her as a team at Epko Consulting.
Okay.
And then 2 weeks ago, she got a job. She got hired in Nairobi after, you know, that process of us helping her and tweaking her, working with us. And now she got a full-time job in Nairobi.
Amazing.
And I'm telling you, she shocked everybody, because she's one of the people who have joined us and gotten hired like in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks,
much.
yeah. Now that's amazing. One, thank you for taking the initiative, because that picture could have come through your WhatsApp and you would have ignored it and moved on to other things. But you took the initiative because that's in your world. You took the initiative, you reached out to her, offered an opportunity, and then even after you offered an opportunity, you continued to coach her.
Yes.
Not worried about, oh, I am going to coach her and she would leave my company and go to another company. So that says a lot about you not being selfish, that you want to hold on to these people, but you want to make them the best that they can be. So when they step out there, they are not only contributing citizens to our society, but great at what they are doing.
Yes, and that's to your point. That's what I was trying to say. Like when you say that we need to do more, that's an appeal I hear you make, Rispa, that we as a community need to do more in sharing this. Whether you're the one who is going to take this or not, it's important that you get this information and give it to somebody else who can benefit from. And that's really how other communities have thrived together. So are you only, are your offices here in the US, in Dallas, Texas only? I'm here in Dallas. It's, we are e-commerce, so we are virtual right now, but we're working on getting actually offices in Dallas, physical offices, but right now we are virtual. We have in offices in Nairobi, like virtual offices, because when we meet as these data engineers online, they're all over the place. Some are in India, some are in Canada, some are here in the US, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, different countries, even Pakistan, Afghanistan. You know, we have anybody that is willing to do this. We have that. So right now, the engineers that are in our program represent about 26 different countries of origin.
26.
And we have people here who are paying for their, you know, siblings or cousins or family members back home to do this.
Okay. So let's talk about that. So I can be here, and if I want, say, there's this, maybe my cousin or my sister back in Kenya, I can actually be able to facilitate from here, and they can join the program? Absolutely. And their training is $60 per course, while here in America is $250 per course. Right now, those are the fees. But back home is $60 per course. So you can sponsor somebody. As we speak right now, we've had 2 people get hired in Nairobi. 2 of the data engineers out of the 88 are in Nairobi. So if we were focusing more of this previously with these other countries, more people would have been hired. So that's why I decided to expand and give them the opportunity. Is that $60 for Kenya or worldwide outside of the US? It is $60. Non-G7. The G7 is $250. Non-G7 is $60 per course. So if you don't know the G7, you have to Google G7 and then figure out if you are within the G7 or you are not in the G7. It used to be G8, but and then you'll know if you are in the 260 or in the 250 or the 60. 250 or 60. Yeah.
Anchor Network.
What I've seen from speaking to some of the people going through this process is they have tried so many boot camps, of IT training and they drop out because they didn't have the information beforehand.
Okay.
So when they hit the roadblocks, they don't know how to navigate, whether they need to jump. Some people decide to go back and just forget about the whole thing. But I would stress on the importance of really consulting in terms of spend that $100 and get a consultation meeting, and plan ahead, because sometimes you don't want to bite too much, more than you can chew. So if you can plan well, then you're going to definitely succeed. And let me give you the numbers. 60% of people that go here, according to my analysis, right? 60%,
after all, you're in the data field.
60% of these people will drop out. Like people that just, I want to get into IT, and they don't know what they're getting themselves into. They'll drop out at some point. But people that go through like a consultation meeting that will help you understand the process and everything that you're going to go through, what you're going to experience, what kind of turbulence and all that, I would say about 70% of them will succeed. Which is a big number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it cuts that almost to 50%.
To 50%.
Of chances of succeeding.
Yeah. You mentioned job placement. Do you have partners who you give these opportunities to?
Yes.
Or how does that work?
That's a great question, Rispa. I actually work very well with my directors, my former directors that I've worked with. They're our partners. They support what we do because we are producing the workforce that is going to help companies succeed. So on LinkedIn, I also network with the recruiters on LinkedIn and tell them, hey, I have these professionals that I know. Some of them have either been laid off and they're getting rehired. So we create this networking because, as you know, nowadays, your network
is your net worth.
Absolutely. So I make sure that we create these bridges and in these human relationships so that we can create those opportunities for them.
Wonderful.
And out of the 88, about 17 of these people, of the data engineers that have been hired, I would say there have been direct referrals to somebody that I know that I've networked with. So it's very important for us to look out for each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you, the people who've gone through your program, do you have maybe like an alumni process where they support the ones coming behind them?
Absolutely. We have that. We have you know, we have the alumni network where these people, that once you join, you really, I haven't seen anybody leave.
You're in the Epko family.
You're in the Epko family because you know how your life has changed through the process. And the least you can do is stay here and help others that are trying to cross the river as well.
Oh wow, wonderful. Great work that you're doing with Epko Consulting, and I am hoping that a lot more people can be able to join in this effort that you are doing. What are some of the challenges you find yourself addressing or facing as a CEO and founder of a great organization like Epko?
Yeah, what I've seen is some of the challenges, finances, you know, people being able to afford this, which is when you look around in the fees that we actually charge to help in this process, they are we are one of the cheapest in providing these services. Mainly because we want to support our community. We want to make sure like people are able to afford this. And I'm actually in the process of working with you know, local and government authorities to see if there's any way that we can incorporate maybe getting some grants to help people through this process. Because it's part of, you know, career changing and enhancing people's lives. So those are things that we plan to do this year to try and see if we can get some funding to help with that. At the same time, some of the challenges that I see are on personal commitments, actually more so on the mental barriers. We have actually mental health barriers to our success. Yeah, and some people, when you think about it from our cultural perspective, when stress comes in, depression, all these things, some of people from our community, we don't reach out for help. We try to make it happen no matter what. but at the same time, these are realities of the real life challenges that people need to address. And this is one thing whenever some of our clients, I notice that they are struggling maybe through mental health or stress, depression, whatever it is, when they share with me, I always encourage them to seek help. Yes, and at Epko we actually have forums for self-care. We meet every first and third Thursday of each month to talk specifically about self-care and mental health barriers, so that we can be successful. So I usually get a professional psychiatric provider that that partners with us to help bring awareness to this to these issues. Another one I would say is lack of the emotional intelligence aspect on some people. Because nowadays you can have all the technical skills, but if you don't know how to communicate well, how to be proactive, and if you don't know how to basically be apologetic, to show empathy, right? You may not get the job. So somebody may have 30% technical skills, but the emotional intelligence aspect,
70%,
they get the job.
And they stand
somebody
out.
And somebody who has more, they may not get. So we try to highlight those challenges, whether it's communication. You know that eye contact sometimes is a problem from our culture,
depending on the culture you come from.
Yes, so we try to make sure like we bring that awareness, especially for new people that are coming and they are not used to looking at people, the interviewers in the eye. We try to make sure like, hey, maintain that eye contact, because it helps with your body language. All that helps you to deliver the message.
So you're not only teaching data, you're also going an extra mile to provide career coaching, but also providing additional services, such as how do you ensure self-care and all that, and taking care of your mental health. That's really, really amazing.
It's the holistic well-being. That's how you're going to succeed.
Holistic well-being, exactly. So we have a large community, African community here in the US, here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. What can the African diaspora community, or even the Kenyan community? The other day we were at the Minto conference. Even just if we can address even the Minto community, what can we do to support the work that you're doing? And also, how does Epko work with community or non-profit organizations in our community here in the US or back home? What is the quote? I left home to change home.
Yes, absolutely.
Since you left home to change home, what are you doing to ensure that happens?
We are definitely actively involved, as you said, Rispa, because it's important that we don't forget where we come from. So as you remember the Minto meeting, the organization meeting that we had, Epko was one of the sponsors of that meeting. And it's a two-way street. We benefit by enriching and investing in our community, and when our community can be able to self-sustain, then it means if something happens, I don't have to give as much money to support, because we are all able. So we are able to lift each other as a community. And so we, as Epko, we partner with churches, mosques, whoever it is that is involved in the well-being of the society as a whole, to help. And we want to have more engagements of that, to where we can be able to support our churches and even have career days at schools and encourage our young people that they need to know that there's a lot of opportunities in the IT industry as well. Do you have sponsorship opportunities? If somebody just wanted to sponsor someone, they don't have to be their cousin or relative. Can somebody just say, hey Elvis,
I love what you're doing. I would like to sponsor somebody who is
So
not
that's
able to.
actually a great question, Rispa. That's in the works as we speak. We are working on implementing kind of like a sponsorship and scholarship opportunity for people to upskill. And sometimes we even have people that are already in IT, but they are lacking some of these skills, and they can come in and learn maybe one of the courses that they don't have and upskill that way. So we are building that, and we are looking, forward to support each other in this mission, and we can be able to help those people that can not be able to afford it all.
Amazing. If somebody wants to find Epko, how do they find Epko?
You can find it by going to epkoconsulting.com.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can make an appointment there online to have a consultation meeting. There's a phone number as well that you can call. But mainly, if you can just fill out the form online and send it, we try to get a feel of who this person is, what they're trying to do, and then we talk to them and assist them with their resources to help them succeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last but not least, you mentioned a consulting fee. Is the consulting, I think you said $100?
It's $100 for G7.
For G7.
$50 for non-G7.
Is that per person, or
it's per person?
If I want to bring my village and we do one consultation.
It doesn't work like that, because when you go to a restaurant, unless you're going to share that food, it doesn't work like that. Or when you go to see the doctor, you don't share the prescription. Usually, it's it's per person. Yeah.
I had to ask for my neighbor, my neighbor's neighbor, so they can have. I
can't tell you how many people have asked me that question. And I think we have to change the mindset, because one of the challenges I face, Rispa, is some of our people don't believe in investing, like in yourself. Like they don't believe, like they feel like they should get these consultations for free, but they don't. Some of them don't see the value. But I'm starting to see a lot more people being willing to actually invest in themselves.
We are changing. We are changing.
Yeah, we have to have a growth
mindset. We are getting better. We are getting better. We are getting better.
It's a growth mindset, right? We have to grow out of things that don't really make sense.
Yeah, thank you, Elvis, so very much for joining us today. We've been having a conversation with Elvis Omboto, founder and CEO Epko Consulting. Before we wind up, any parting shot?
First of all, I would say thank you so much for having me. This is quite a blessing, and I feel like all things work together for good for those who love God and have been called according to His name and purpose. I'm a very strong believer in my spirituality, and I feel like everything that I've done is because I give glory to God. He's the only one who has enabled us to do what we've been able to do. And the sky is the limit. We're gonna continue to pass this message along. And I also want to commend you for I see the videos, I see what you're doing back home and here, changing lives back in the villages back home. I always keep you in my prayers that you will continue to succeed in this as well and create more impact. If we had so many Rispers and doing the same thing, multiply all this, we could change the world for sure. So I want to thank you for doing what you're doing and for having me as well.
We have talked a lot about data, the new gold and the new oil. A lot of information. Businesses are using data to make critical decisions, and there are a lot of opportunities in the data world. Reach out to Epko Consulting through their website, epkoconsulting.com, and they'll be able to reach out to you and give you more information and hold your hand as you learn more about data or transition into a data career.
network of ordinary people creating extraordinary impacts.